Natural light wedding photography, I shoot well over 80% of my day, maybe even 90% of my day with just natural light, even inside included as well. Here are my tips. Time of day is number one. Closer to sunset is always better. I would way rather have 10 minutes of photos around golden hour than 10 minutes, 20 minutes, even an hour of photos in the harsh noon or 2 p.m. sun. Open shade is always my best friend if I am forced to shoot in that 12 noon, 2 p.m. sun. So find a tree, find a building that's creating some light and photograph in there. For lighting, just because someone is in the shade doesn't mean that they're actually in great light. I put my couples near openings to forest rather than putting them actually in the forest. While you do want great light, which being inside a forest does kind of create, you also want good light with good color and good direction. And being closer to an opening with good natural light coming in from the outside does create this. Backlit photos are probably my favorite from the entire wedding day. I'm usually shooting them wide open or near wide open. I also rotate around them a bit in a semicircle when taking photos. Sometimes it works best when the sun is directly behind the couple. Sometimes it works best slightly left or right, depending on what's happening in the scene. That brings us to our next point, to read the scene. If you see a big gray or white wall acting as a perfect reflector, obviously use it. Shooting the opposite direction to it isn't going to create the best photos in that scene. When you walk into a space or an outdoor location, spend a minute maybe figuring out where the light's coming from and where to best place the couple. Open up selfie cam on your iPhone or your phone if you really want to walk around and just make sure that you are specifically in the best lighting spot possible. I'm going to close out by saying, while no space will ever be perfect, you don't really want it to be. And if you want it perfect, your couple would want their wedding images to be taken in a studio. Your couple is hiring you because they want you to create amazing images true to their actual wedding day, so the smaller imperfections actually make it real. Overall else, just make sure your couple looks good in the photos and they will be incredibly happy. Now I'm going to throw it to me talking in real life to a camera. Going to run through a quick demo here. Sorry that the hotel room's a bit of a mess. I've been here for 3 days. So these lights right here, this big window light, good shade coming in, pretty much my favorite style of light, that if I can be standing like right over here with an 85 or a 50 or a 24 or 35, whatever, shallow depth of field, makes some really good natural light images. If I was photographing them in this way and trying to get the background, because the background looks so good, but unfortunately, unless you're bringing studio lights in, it's not really possible to get the best image. If I was to walk out here and get a little more light on my face, it would become a lot more possible. So if you want that kind of getting ready photo with everything in the background that's also in good lighting, then bring them closer to where the good light is. We're gonna move back inside. I'm gonna run through maybe a few more things that I would come across on a typical wedding day. So getting ready, bathrooms, mixed lighting. This lighting is not so good that even though there's great lighting out here, this lighting it's kind of orangey, it's a fluorescent bulb. It is soft, but it's not the best possible lighting that could be happening in this room right now. So I'm gonna walk away from this, and instantly, as you can see, it gets a lot better. So if I was doing getting ready photos in this room, I would probably be not trying to include the TV, but I would maybe be somewhere over here like this. I'd also be opening this window, even though this window doesn't open because, I don't know, budget Florida hotels. But if you can get kind of the three-dimensionality of this light coming in through this window, and be using this window as your main light with this over the shoulder, it's a very, very good 360 kind of three-dimensional look and feel to your images. So last example, this light over here. So say your bride is getting ready right here. Unfortunately, not so good. Rest of the room is fine, but even if I take my hat off, it's really not the best lighting situation, and you can't really correct globally for that in post. It just looks weird. So the solution is always just to bring them this way. Like, look at how, like, the shortest difference. So looking this way, it's like, this is okay, I guess. And then you look this way and all of a sudden you're in great light. So something to think about, just even if you walk around, like take your phone out, I don't have my phone here somewhere. So even take your phone out, put your phone on selfie mode and just kind of walk around the room before you decide exactly where you want to put the bride. And you figure out that, like, hey, this is the spot right here that I want to bring them. And if you're that specific and that certain so early on in the day, it only incites confidence for the rest of the day. So if you're like, hey, can you stand here for getting ready? At that point, they're like, oh, he actually does understand when to take control. He knows what looks good. He knows what looks best on me. So some thoughts for today. And maybe one last thing, if it is a very, very bright day outside, you can draw the shade here and actually make it even softer than it actually is, even though it's very soft light coming in already. Something like this makes it even better, more cohesive of a scene. So thanks for watching today. I will see you tomorrow.